going to tell you a story. I was coming home the other day, and I was listening to this audiobook, and I was about 5 minutes from the house, and I could tell that final scene was getting set up. I could feel it. I was like, ooh, this is the last scene. And I thought, oh, I stopped it. I stopped listening. Because I knew that if I let it play, that I'd get into that scene, and that I would sit in my car like an idiot and listen to the last half hour or whatever it was. So I had to stop it. And it's a good thing I did, because I would have. Because that's basically what happened when I got back in. This book by Alison Bliss. I want to talk about it. First of all, look at this guy. Looks a lot like me. There's a big difference, though. See, this guy, he reads books about muscles and motorcycles and maniacs. And if you believe that, I appreciate it. This guy, I don't know. He reads this book. Okay. Not the same person. We look a lot alike. Not the same. This book has ruined me. Ruined me. And I liked every second of it. I didn't expect a smart, funny, romantic, sexy, well-written, entertaining book when I did this. I just didn't expect all those needs to get met. I had a lot of fun with this book, a lot more than I expected. It blindsided me. I just didn't expect it. The sample that I listened to before I bought this, in that other video I did, that sample, was funny and it was cute and sweet and I liked it. And that's what the book was, except it just kept being that way. It didn't stop. It didn't let up. It was merciless. I wanted a reason to say, oh, this isn't, I don't know how, this is really for me. Well, I couldn't say that. I was very entertained. It is unusual for me to get pulled through a book that strongly. It's a romantic comedy. It's a rom-com, and so it hits scenes. I kind of had, it had scenes in it, or like sequences, or like a series of events that you would sort of expect from a romantic comedy. Okay. But even though I knew that, I could see it, a mile away. I was living it, reading it, and then I was done. I was through it. But it was only like, I don't know, after I had read it that I noticed that's what it was. It was strange. It was like, it didn't bother me. Even though I knew that this was like a really, almost, I want to say cliche, but the thing was, when something's cliche, it sort of feels that way. You kind of like, wrinkle your nose at it and kind of say, I don't know about that. No, it didn't happen. I sort of later realized, like, this is sort of a trope, but it just never felt like that in the moment. It just sort of felt genuine and well written, and I just liked it. I know when I listened to the sample in that other video, I talked about how the main male lead seemed a little white knightish, but that might be a trope, and I think it kind of is, but it really wasn't that. I think that was just sort of the way that character was, and it didn't ever feel like a thing that was just put on a character. It didn't feel like it was something that Alison Bliss just sort of like wanted to happen, and so she's like, well, I wrote this character, so I'm just going to apply this to him, and that'll work. It's like that sort of was, that mentality and that personality was just sort of like fit into that character. And even though, and the characters were well written, I guess what I want to say is that they're not the only characters in the book, certainly, but the male and female lead definitely dominate the book. Sam and Leah. Predominantly, the book is them through one or the other's perspective, and I think he did a really good job of like making you sympathize with one party and sort of see what they're going through, and then see the other party. So I like that. There were some really, really funny moments. To make you actually laugh or make us like to out loud listening to something or reading something is kind of hard to do. It's not easy to do in print. It seems like it should be, but it really isn't, especially in the course of a story, over the course of a whole novel. It's not easy to kind of get somebody like that. And she did it a number of times. So that was impressive. I liked that. That was funny. It was good. It was, I genuinely laughed. I genuinely enjoyed it. I was genuinely smiling and thinking, I look like an idiot reading this book, but I don't really care because this is great. So whatever. It was a lot of fun, and I just didn't expect it. I could tell it felt like it was going to be good. It's going for that, like a plus size woman in her dealing with her own inner struggles and sort of the anxiety that she's developed through the way people have talked and treated her throughout her life, and how that affects her ability to like see someone's genuine feelings for her in the moment. Right. And so that kind of felt like going into it like, ooh, are we going to lean so heavy on that? It didn't ever feel that way. It didn't feel like it was exploitive, trying to really, really zing that demographic, right? Or whatever. It didn't ever feel like that. It just felt natural to the character. Again, this is a romantic comedy, so it wasn't doing something a romantic comedy wouldn't do. It definitely had, like I said, things happen in this book where it reminded me of, romantic comedy movies that I'd seen or something. Probably a bad but slightly accurate comparison would be like if you took like Bridget Jones's Diary and like Sweet Home Alabama and you like put them together. It's kind of like that. It's neither one of those. Much closer to Bridget Jones, I think, than Sweet Home Alabama, but it has a little bit of that stuff in there. There's that sort of that flavor is in there. It was a real pleasure to read. And that's just what is the book supposed to do? That book was designed and written to sort of elicit a happy and pleasurable experience, and it delivered in spades. Really, really, really great. So, yeah, I guess what am I going to say? I did not pick these books thinking I was going to really find something that I would genuinely say, if you like romantic comedies, you should read this book because it's excellent. But this is me, and I'm not that guy anymore, and I'm telling you, this is a great book. You should read it. My name's Virgil. This is literally books. I read romantic comedies now, and I'm happy to say that. Alison Bliss did a wonderful job with this book. If you want to see me read other books I don't like, you can do the buttons at the bottom where they tell you to, if you want to.